Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Wow, really?
Are you short-circuiting over there?
No, I don't know. Am I?
Oh, there you go. You're back,
Am I back?
unfortunately.
How back? Am I very back? Hello. We are back. I was thinking about this. This is probably the longest break we've had on Texas Football Today. Boy. I mean, the last time, because we didn't do a show since pre-State 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty wild, but hello.
Dude, life has been coming at us fast.
We're back.
In every direction.
I took a week off last week, a week of PTO, and you're probably thinking, well, Greg, valued friend, where did you go? The answer is nowhere. The answer is I just stayed home. I was able to take a week of PTO, and because of the way the fourth holiday stacked up, I was able to get 12 days off in a row.
That rocks.
Which rocks. It's the longest. I thought about this. It's the longest amount of time I've had off since
Max was born?
Since Max was born.
Yeah.
Since I went on paternity leave. So that was cool. I just hung around. We did a ton of dad stuff. We need a word for like a staycation, but like where you don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Because
isn't that called a staycation? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Staycation is like, oh, I'm going to get a hotel in Dallas.
Exactly.
Because we live here, but we're going to, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I stayed in my house.
Homecation.
A homecation, a dadcation.
Dadcation. I think homecation.
Homecation.
Because you can't just limit it to dads.
That's
Because I
true.
could take a homecation.
You could take a homecation. But I did a ton of stuff with the boys and with my wife, and we went to splash pads, we went to the pool, we went to soccer practice, we went to Legoland, we went to the aquarium, we did it all, including, and here's an exclusive review of Despicable Me 4. I surprised Hank.
Minions! I love the Minions.
I surprised Hank and told him at 5 o'clock, hey, we're going to a 7 o'clock movie on Monday, and he was fired up. It's the worst one.
Really?
Despicable Me 4 is the worst Despicable Me movie. And I'm not saying it's bad. You got to know what you're going into. I will say that, like, and Hank is, you know Hank, you've met.
Yeah, that's my guy.
He's your boyfriend, basically.
Correct.
He is, as you know, a sensitive kid.
Yes.
He's a sensitive kid. So
him and I are different in that way.
Right.
I probably lack sensitivity in a bad way.
He's a sensitive kid. He has big feelings and stuff. So grain of salt when I say there were times when he was scared during the movie.
Oh,
like
man.
the villain, which is voiced by Will Ferrell, it does feel like this is the least whimsical villain.
Okay.
Like,
he actually has some villain,
there's some
protagonist to him.
So he's like, here's a spoiler alert for Despicable Me 4. He is half man, half cockroach.
Oh.
And so there's immediately like a visceral.
And it's Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I would be scared
and
too.
He's playing like he's got like a French like accent. It's very odd. Anyway, the Minions are in it and they're funny, and like Hank loved it because we got to go to the movie. I taught him about the glory and joy of sneaking candy into the movie. He was like, "Can we get candy at the movie?" And I go, "No, but we can get it at the convenience store." He's like, "Wait, really?" I'm like, "Uh-huh."
Son, let me learn you about
Let me tell you about
places.
Let me tell you, you like this house? You know how we paid for it?
We sneak in candy.
Yeah, we're not buying a Twix for $14.99. But it was also, so we also went to that movie. It was in a mall. It was actually in local mall pickle.
Oh, I've been to that.
To this local mall?
I have been to a movie in that local mall with Mallory Hartley after basketball crossover week.
So
our movies that we saw were very different, though.
So I have not, Did you see like Magic Mike or something?
We did. We saw the third one.
No, man, what a shot in the dark. We're very back.
It was a very good movie. No evil cockroach.
Yeah,
Will Ferrell villains in Magic
I was
Mike 3.
Steve Carell didn't show up in your movie.
Magic Mike XXL.
Stephen Colbert cameo. Okay. We did see different movies, but I don't know if you fine folks have been in a mall lately. I don't know if you fine folks have gone to a mall lately.
I don't think I have been.
But let me tell you something, folks. The malls, not doing awesome. It's a tough scene in the mall.
Have you heard about Amazon?
Man, I'm telling you, we were walking around and like, Hank, of course, doesn't know any better. We're walking around and like, he thinks it's super cool. He's like, oh, it's big. Look at all these stores. And all I'm seeing is like, oh, like 2/3 of these are empty.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It was a tough scene.
Tough scene for malls.
Exactly right. But then we went to Legoland and we went to the aquarium and we just did all sorts of
Legoland.
stuff.
Oh, you went to that mall. I lied. I went to the other local mall. Like,
Oh.
arguably the way worse other local mall.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about the same mall. We went to Legoland a different day.
Oh.
At the other mall.
At the
Yes.
other mall. Okay.
We went to the mall right over here. Pickle.
Yeah, okay, that's where-
We'll have a conversation, just you and I here.
That is exactly where
Yes.
we saw our movie as well. But
And it's a tough scene.
yeah. That one's way worse than the other one.
Yes,
Way
the other one's
worse.
doing
the
fine.
other one has a Nike outlet in it, so I do frequent that mall like
They got a couple outlets.
fairly often.
We were, but yeah, I want to say that might have been Hank's first time in malls, like this past week.
That's fair.
Which is what happens when Dad takes PTO.
Yeah.
Apparently, we just go to malls.
We go to malls. What else is there to do on
Exactly
homecation?
right. Exactly right. Anyway, we are very back, at least for a little bit. We'll tell you what that means. Hit the theme. Yes, y'all. Texas football mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show that's back. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today in the Pickle Palace. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She is also back, apparently. She's Ashley Pickle.
Correct. I actually never really left. I just was not on this camera.
You've been here
I was
the
here.
whole time.
I
Yeah.
am about to leave, though. So.
You are about to leave.
Yeah.
Bad time to be declaring us back.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we're really not back until August, let's be honest.
Today is Monday, July 15th, 2024. It is, I forgot to look up how many days to Thanksgiving. 136 days till Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Happy birthday to Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard turns 34 today. Damian Lillard.
He had a moment.
Damian Lillard, still great. And Damian Lillard, responsible for one of my all-time favorite tweets that I tell my wife all the time. Do you know what he tweeted?
I'll know it when you say it.
Somebody asked him, he tweeted something, and then someone replied with win a playoff series and then before you talk. And his reply was, I'm trying, Jennifer.
Correct.
Shout out to Damian Lillard. Happy birthday to him. It's episode 1786. On today's show, folks, we've got headlines from across the state, including its media days. And then I have a hot take about the new college football video game that comes out today.
Oh, okay.
I have a hot take. We'll get into that. And then back half the show, I had the opportunity to chat with the executive director of the UIL, Dr. Charles Breithaupt. This was about a week ago, and we chatted a little bit about his decision and his announcement that he was going to retire at the end of the 2024-2025 calendar or academic year, I should say, UIL season, which goes all the way until June. And so we had a really great talk, he and I think he gives us some really interesting insights into his decision. So we will hear from Dr. Charles Breithaupt, the UIL Executive Director, coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Daniel Agnew, jersey number 69, nice. Ed McElroy, and I guess Matt Stepp.
Did you see, well, this is not going to be one of the headlines, but it's only been tweeted to me 100,000 times
Okay.
the logo map.
Yes.
So
I have received emails. I have
some
seen
sicko
tweets.
out there went through, and apparently this is a thing that's going on the internet, is that went through and put the logos of every UIL Texas high school in each county. And so it's like a map with like 1,800 logos, because it's not just football. It's also like if you play basketball or if you participate in athletics. And it got, when I say that I think I've received it 300 times.
Literally.
My mom texted it to me, okay?
Oh, our NFL insider.
Our NFL insider, my mom texted it to me. Like, people who are just like, everyone who saw that was just like, I know who'll love it. And to be clear, you're right. Like, I do love it. It's just, it's the kind of sicko stuff that I'm into. But
And people understand that.
people do understand that, and I appreciate that. But anyway, shout out to that psychopath for doing that, because that's a lot. He said it took 80 hours to do.
Yeah, that's some Matt Stepp level.
That is some Matt Stepp level
Stepp
stuff.
doesn't know how to work Photoshop, though. I'm calling him out.
That's a great
Couldn't
point.
be him.
All right, Pickle, let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. Unfortunately, we have to start with some very sad news. And it came down late last week. This was that UT Permian Basin announced that their freshman defensive end, Luke Miller, passed away on Monday. Luke Miller was a star defensive end at Frisco Lone Star, was entering his freshman season there at UT Permian Basin. From what I understand, and from what some reports, there had been some talk from him on social media that he was dealing with some health issues, but the cause of death is still unknown. Very, very sad news. This was a first-team All-District pick last year. Signed his NLI to play for the Falcons this past year, or back on signing day. A terrible, terrible loss as Luke Miller has passed away. Was going to be a freshman there at UT Permian Basin. Certainly worth thinking about him, the UT Permian Basin family, the Frisco Lone Star family. Very, very sad news there coming out of UT Permian Basin. A couple of other things that are interesting. Pickle. We had our final 2 Texas high school football coaching changes. Now,
that's crazy on July 15th.
There can still be some. To be clear,
it doesn't mean it's completely
all that means is that all of the UIL 11-man jobs have been filled. All of the vacancies have now been filled. The first one came down early last week, and that was that Killeen Chaparral. You may remember. Uh-oh, did you just lose me?
No.
Oh, good. Well, my mic pack just fell.
This is why we can't have nice things.
We're very back. Killeen Chaparral, you may remember that Alan Hare was leaving to go take over at Jarrell. He took over, he left in mid-June, and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Well, then on July 8th, Killeen Chaparral hired San Antonio Davenport offensive coordinator Tyrell McCray to be their next head coach. He was named to the position by their new athletic director, Matt Carroll. McCray is a Del Rio guy. He played ball at Angelo State, began coaching at Navarro College, has bounced around a little bit. He worked under Matt Carroll at San Antonio Roosevelt. That's kind of their connection there. But Tyrell McCray is going to be the next head coach at Killeen Chaparral. That was the second to last coaching vacancy. The final vacancy, Pickle, got filled on Wednesday, when San Angelo TLC hired former Austin High offensive coordinator Bradley O to be their next head coach. Bradley O is their next head coach. Jonah Masters left to go be an assistant at Center Point. Coach O is a native of Coppell and played at Austin College as well, and a 2-time captain and Division III All-American there. He spent his time at Austin College in Sherman as an assistant. But he spent 1 year as Butler Community College as well. Bounced around a little bit. Now will become a head coach at San Angelo TLC, as Bradley O is the next head coach of San Angelo TLC, and that closes out coaching change season
Crazy.
On July 10th. That is all the UIL 11-man vacancies filled. There may still be some 6-man vacancies. I need to look. I've been on vacation. I haven't checked before this show. But for now, all the UIL 11-man coaching changes, vacancies have been filled. And I can tell you, do you want to take a guess at how many?
4 415.
Well, way lower than that.
Okay.
211. 211. Remember, that's only UIL 11, man.
Okay.
Which means that there's about 1,083 of those.
Yep.
So about 1/5 of the jobs turned over.
Wow.
Overall in 2023-24 coaching change season. So there you have it, the final coaching change there across the Texas high school football landscape. Okay, so media days are going on. Our friends Mike Craven and Mallory Hartley were in Las Vegas last week. Did they make it back?
They did.
How sure are you?
I've seen Mallory for a total of about 30 minutes in the past 2 weeks,
But you
but
did
it has
see her.
been post-Vegas.
Got it. Okay. Did she survive?
She did. I haven't really had a chance to ask her about it, but she's
Okay.
breathing.
They went to Vegas for Big 12 Media Day. You can read all of our coverage on TexasFootball.com. Brett Yormark made some headlines out there kind of talking about the state of play, more or less intimated that they're open for business and that they are interested in continuing to be aggressive out there, which is certainly, I've said this before about Brett Yormark, say what you want about him. I don't think he's made all the right moves, but one of the things that he's done is he's changed their mindset from being reactive to being proactive. I think that's why they're in the position they are, where they're not, to be clear, the Big 12 is not on the same level as the Big 10 or the SEC. However, they are steady. And I don't think that there's any concern that that conference is going to fall apart, unlike, for example, the ACC, where if Florida State and Clemson were to leave, which has been widely rumored, they would be in deep, deep doo-doo. So it is a very, very interesting situation at the Big 12. You can read all of our Big 12 Media Day coverage on TexasFootball.com, including some one-on-one interviews with, let's see, they got them with all four? Joey McGuire, Dave Aranda.
They didn't get Dave Aranda.
Dave Aranda.
There is, on the other side of that, though, there is a great thing on our Dave Campbell's TikTok that is Mallory asked all the Baylor players that were there to do their best Dave Aranda impression.
Well, that's better than interviewing Dave Aranda.
It is fantastic.
So make sure you go check out all of our content on TexasFootball.com. And then that leads us to today, where right now going on at this moment is SEC Media Days in Dallas. Where Texas and Oklahoma are making their SEC debut at SEC Media Day. It will be very interesting to see what comes out. Greg Sankey has already given his kind of state of the conference address. You should go and see Mike Craven's write-up. We've got team coverage there at SEC Media Day if you want to go check out what we've got cooking on TexasFootball.com. Media Days are good and cool. I don't know that you necessarily glean a lot from it. I think that it comes at a time when people are really hungry for football. And so that's why people like it's new content. I don't know if it necessarily moves the needle or you get a ton of breaking news out of it, but it is interesting, certainly. And it'll be interesting to hear what Mike Elko and Steve Sarkisian say, plus their players there at SEC Media Days in Dallas. So we will keep an eye on that and have you covered at TexasFootball.com. Finally, Pickle, today is a big day for a certain segment of nerds. Today is the release of College Football 2025, the first college football video game in, 11 years?
Yep.
I want to say.
2014 was the last one?
2014. So I think that came out in 2013, so at least 12 years. It has been a long time coming. They first announced this thing was going to happen back in 2021. I think February 2021 they announced that they were coming back with a college football video game. This, of course, it went away because of concerns about using player likenesses without paying them. NIL came along, EA Sports got in the NIL game and said, hey, we'll pay you to be able to use your likeness in the game. And so now players are getting a cut of it and being in the college football playoff game or the college football video game. A lot of buzz about it. Here's my hot take about it.
Okay, I'm interested to see what this is.
Are we prepared for a reality where this game is only pretty good? I think the bar has been set way too high, and I think the hype on this game is way too much right now. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be some sort of game-changing, transcendent game, and I think right now we've got a lot of member berries about it. Yeah. I think there's a certain segment of people. Quite frankly, it's men my age who remember playing the college football video games growing up, and they want to have that feeling again. And I just think there's a possibility that this game is it's pretty good, and people but my question for that in a situation like that is, are we going to be able to be honest about it? Because the marketing on this, I will tell you, the marketing on this game has been spectacular. Spectacular. No notes on that. I do wonder if there's going to be public pressure to overly praise this game. And in fact, it might just be it's a pretty good football game, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
So my take on it is, I still think that those of us, I mean, especially guys more along your age, but I also grew up playing the game, and I think that those who played it when it originally was intact and in its prime will thoroughly enjoy the game. I really do think that. I think that people younger than us that are coming into it going, oh, well, all I've heard is my dad and my uncle and my brother and my cousin talk about how great this game is. And it just kind of is a football game. It's not that big. So I do think that the nostalgia will play a huge role into it for those of us that grew up playing it. I don't think the newer generation is going to have the same peak, and it's going to kind of run its course, and then it'll be done. I
mean, they've done an excellent job marketing it. It's been an unbelievable. I also think that it's one of those things. This strikes me as one of those things that is way bigger online than it actually is in the zeitgeist. Because right now, I don't know about you, my social media has just been blowing up about this video game. And I think that there's a pretty decent chance that it's just pretty good.
Yeah.
And certainly I do not think that it's going to be some sort of seismic moment in the cultural zeitgeist. I think it's a cool deal, and I'd like to play it, but I don't know. I worry that we've reached critical mass as far as, and also I also recognize that by saying this, there's going to be people who are going to be very mad at me for saying that, because we all want this game to be great. And I think there's just a possibility that it's pretty good, and I wonder if we're going to be able to be intellectually honest about it being pretty good, if it is in fact. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's the greatest video game of all time.
Yeah.
But I also wonder that the hype is presently outweighing the bang, and I worry about that. But we'll see. I'm interested in playing as UTEP as usual, or North Texas. My team on 2014, which 2013 was the last one I had. I would play as North Texas, and I would, and that was before they had Apogee, so I played at Fouts Field.
Oh Lord!
And let me tell you,
that
gross.
Gross
in the video game too.
Yeah.
They captured it,
Could you tell how bad the press box was from the video game?
Yeah, it was. But I, of course, ran North Texas to multiple national championships.
As one does.
I really used the Texas pipeline to do that. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff on TexasFootball.com about it, because it's a good content play. So go to TexasFootball.com for all the things you want to hear about the video game. And then go play the video game. Or don't. I don't know, if you're not into video games. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. No, we're not. We're here twice a week on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State.
You have until August 12th to get that right.
Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, hope you'll go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. We're going to mail you a 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I know what you're doing. You're yelling at your screen right now saying, hey, Tepper, where's the magazine? When can I buy it on store shelves? They are on trucks right now, heading to stores. I do not control them. I do not control the trucks. Please don't yell at me about freight. But TexasFootball.com/subscribe is how you can get it mailed to you right now. We'll drop one in the mail for you. Plus, you get a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform, where you get thousands of Texas high school events, including hundreds and hundreds of Texas high school football games, including hundreds of Texas high school football playoff games, live on your device at TexanLive.com. Go check that out. Also, do we want to hype this about what you guys are doing in Texan Live, or not yet?
Yeah, no, we can go ahead and do it. So we'll have more information about this going out on our social media channels, but to try and get the excitement for football season as high as we possibly can leading up to the 2024 season, we are doing a first-time thing at Dave Campbell's Texan Live. We are going to turn every single football game from the 2023 season free.
Wow!
Free to watch from today, July 12th, rewind, today, July 15th, to August 15th. So for 1 month, get hyped for football. Go check out what we do at Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Go watch all of the fantastic games from last season. And then after that, we'll kick off the 2024 season. So we're incredibly excited about this and hope that y'all will go check out TexanLive.com.
Yes, please go to TexanLive.com and you can see all of those awesome games we had on Texan Live for free. Go back and relive it so you can go check out a lot of those games. We'll start putting some of those games out, tweeting them out and saying, hey, by the way, this is free. You should go watch this game. So make sure you check that out. Coming up here in just a moment, we caught up with the UIL Executive Director, Dr. Charles Breithaupt, about his final season at the helm. But first, a word from these goods and services.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley, coming to you from the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Studios. I had a great opportunity to sit down and chat with the Executive Director of the UIL, Dr. Charles Breithaupt. Dr. Breithaupt made waves a couple of weeks ago at the UIL Legislative Council meeting, announcing that the 2024-2025 season would be his final season with the UIL as he goes off into retirement, ending a 3-decade-plus run at the UIL. We talked about that and many other things in my conversation. Here is my conversation with Dr. Charles Breithaupt of the UIL here on Texas Football Today. All right. In 3, 2. Big news out of the UIL Legislative Council meeting earlier this month as Dr. Charles Breithaupt, the Executive Director of the UIL, announced the 2024-2025 academic year would be his last, a guy who's been a mainstay there at the UIL. And here to talk about it, why not get it directly from him himself? We're pleased to be joined by the Executive Director of the UIL, Dr. Charles Breithaupt. Dr. B, it's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Greg. It's good to always talk to you. We've had some great conversations. Most of those are at football championships or some other time, realignment, but this is a different scenario, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you here for a minute. And I guess the word is probably congratulations, but I know, just knowing you and in conversations we've had over the years, that this decision has to be relatively bittersweet for you. Is that correct?
Well, I think that is the appropriate way to say it. I'm saddened to leave a job that I've loved so much for the last 33 years, the last 15 as executive director. I love the coaches and I love the kids and I love what we do. I think it's appropriate for Texas to have a governing body that's made up of school administrators who care about the activities and support those financially. And through their rules and through their adjudication of the rules, we have, I think, the best league in the United States for amateur sports. And that word amateur is tentative, of course, as we always talk about. But I would tell you that, yeah, that is bittersweet. But knowing that we're in great hands, the fact that we have a stable of employees that are committed to the work and continuing what's going on in the UIL world, I'm very confident that it's going to continue to thrive. And I just felt like it was time. 50 years in public education is enough. I felt like I could go 10, 15 more years physically and perhaps mentally. But I think the COVID year took maybe 5 years off of my tenure. I think it did for all of us. It really hampered us. But at the same time, it's time for fresh voices and fresh news and fresh ideas. And I like what I've been able to do through the years and some of the things we've accomplished through the coaches associations and through our colleagues across the country. I feel very fortunate to have been given this opportunity to work at the UIL for this length of time.
You mentioned you've been the executive director there for the last 15 years. And when I kind of think over your tenure here, it strikes me just the amount of change that has happened just in the Breithaupt era. Is when you take a look at the UIL and the UIL that you inherited in 2009 as executive director and the one that you're at right now, is it almost unrecognizable to you how much things have changed in that span?
Greg, it really is difficult to express how different it is because of the changes in the number of schools we have. Number one, when I came in, we had 1,100 schools back in 1992. We have over 1,600 now. That's different. And the fact that being a traditionalist and being schooled in doing this way, because this is the way we've done it since 1910, why would we want to change something that's worked so well? I think breaking down some of those barriers was done because of social media, the fact that news travels fast. And who thought we would be streaming football games during the playoffs on Friday night? Who thought we would ever be having live broadcasts outside of just those two games that we used to do on a Saturday for the 5A D1 and D2 games? So yeah, the game's changed a lot, but I think it's for the better. I think that parents are able to buy in now and have an opportunity to see their child participate. I think we give more chances for teams to win state championships, and I think that's only good. Standing on the way it's always been done is not always the right idea.
When you take a look at this is going to be tough to answer, I recognize, but when you take a look over the course of your tenure here, especially as executive director, but even just going back, 33 years, 35 years with the UIL, is there something that you're most proud of? Is there something that you and your team and the UIL was able to accomplish or navigate that you take a lot of pride in?
Greg, I would have to say the number one thing for me would be the common site for state football championships. We work really hard with the Coaches Association and working with our football coaches and trying to work that out. And it came to fruition. Nothing that I did. It's just it fell into place. And I'm so proud of the work that everyone did to make that happen. D.W. Rutledge and Joe Martin and our staff, we have something now that the rest of the world is envious of us because of the fact that we can get 250,000 people in a facility for a weekend and watch 12 games of high school football, from the smallest 6-man schools to the largest 6A schools. And I think that's incredible. To be able to include our 6-man schools in that, I think just sealed the deal for everyone. And it's been a dynamic product, and I'm really most proud of that.
I do want to talk a little bit more about your retirement, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the other news to come out of the Legislative Council meeting, which was the decision to split divisions in sports like soccer and basketball, volleyball, et cetera, to do Division I and Division II, like we see in football. We're used to seeing that in football. It's going to be a big change for these other sports. And you're a basketball guy. You're a state champion basketball coach, so it's going to impact that as well. Can you talk us through essentially why this was the right move at the right time?
Great question. And I will tell you that I was one of those opposed to any change in that format. I was pounding the podium to say, we can't do this for basketball and baseball and softball. We can't do that for the team sports that play double round robin district championship series. We can't do that because of the travel. There's no way possible for us to do that. So after a while of saying no, I mean, there's 100 ways to say no, correct? Mm-hmm. But can you find 100 ways to say yes? And Dr. Harris and I, over the December holiday period, just said, why can't we do this? Why not give it a chance? We don't have to keep doing the same thing. Maybe we can do finals only. And my script all along has been, Why can't we do it like 6A football? It won't cost anyone any more money. The districts stay sacrosanct. We do it the same way with the number of playoff teams that come out. It's 4. The 2 largest go to Division I. The next 2 go to Division II. There's 6 rounds of the playoffs. You match your games, and we'll see you at the Alamo Dome or wherever the state championships are being held. And you know what? I think everyone that we talked to as we went along the road of talking to our coaches association said, why not? I had a few say, why now? And that was a great question you asked me. And I said, we're not rushing this. We've waited 34 years. We started this in football in 1990, and basketball's been asking for it ever since. And we told them no, and I was one of the leaders of that because of travel, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a beautiful animal. It's going to have some things that pop up that people say, I wish we had the regional tournaments back, or wish we had finals and semifinals at the state tournaments. But overall, who's not for 264 team brackets? Doubles your chance to win a state championship and one less game to play. And I think that's good for all.
And finally, Dr. Breithaupt, I do have to ask you about that. By announcing that the 2024-2025 academic year is going to be your final year, that means that you do realize that the next year, everywhere you go, people are going to be, putting up banners, and it's going to be Dr. Breithaupt Day everywhere you go. Are you prepared for the festivities that are about to follow you for the next year?
Well, I'm hoping there are not any, to be honest with you. I don't want to just slip quickly out the door. I did this early so that the university would have plenty of time to get a replacement. And there's no secret that I support Dr. Jamie Harrison for the role. I don't get to make that decision. The University of Texas president makes that decision, and they'll do a great job. They always have. I mean, I know they failed when they hired me, but they'll get it right this time. And I really support Jamie, and I support him because I know he will take care of the rest of the staff. We have a tremendous team. We've always had good people, but we really have a special team right now, and I hope that would continue. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things that we're looking at, not just this 2 championship concept for all the team sports, but just other things that are around the corner, NIL, portal stuff that will come up in the legislature, all those things that have to be dealt with. Plus, what changes do we make to realignment in the next go round? What does that look like? Would it look like what we have in 5A and below football for all these team sports? So there's a lot for someone who's coming in to do that, and I think that needs fresh new eyes.
He's Dr. Charles Breithaupt. He is the executive director of the UIL. Dr. B, we certainly appreciate your time. I will say congratulations on your impending retirement, but I know there's still work to do. But we certainly appreciate your time today, sir.
Thank you, Greg, and appreciate all the work you've done to support high school athletics across the board throughout the years. And we've become good friends because of that. We don't get to see each other very much, but when we do, it's always a special time. Thank you very much.
There he is, Dr. Charles Breithaupt, the executive director of the UIL. Very interesting conversation there. I thought it was really interesting about what he said about the division splits, about how he was like a convert to it. Like he was like, I was against it for a long time, but I think that now is the right time to do it. I thought that was interesting. His comment about him being the most proud of the Central Site State Championship games. I know that that's something you and I have talked about as like something we should not take for granted. Right. And it's obvious that that's something that he's very interested. He takes a lot of pride in.
Oh, yeah. And I think a lot of that, like, obviously there's all of the logistics that go behind it to putting on a massive scale event like that. But even more so than that, having every single student athlete who is vying for those state championships get to play in the same type of atmosphere, in the same type of arena, in all of that. That's just cool for the student athletes.
No, I totally agree. And then I also think it is interesting, and I don't know, this is not I don't think it's a secret. He didn't make a mistake by saying it, but like his endorsement of Dr. Jamie Harrison to be his successor, I think is very interesting. That's something that I mentioned. I know whenever that first came out of the Legislative Council meeting about his impending retirement, I said that Dr. Harrison is probably going to be the chief candidate here. That's very interesting that Dr. Breithaupt is throwing his weight behind Dr. Harrison. Not a surprise. I know they've worked together for a long time, and Dr. Harrison has, in my opinion, this is now me editorializing, has, in my opinion, set himself up to be the successor. But that's obviously something that the University of Texas president and the board will figure that out. So very interesting conversation with Dr. Charles Breithaupt, the executive director of the UIL. We appreciate his time. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
So for the rest of the program scheduling, we will be back on Thursday to do Texas football today, but no ROF tomorrow and no WTF on Wednesday. With so many different parts being out at media days, we're still obviously trying to gather as much content as we can. So a little bit.
This is real simple. Blame Mallory Hartley.
Yeah, correct.
She's the producer of Republic of Football, and she's the co-host of Women Talking Football.
Yeah.
And she's at SEC Media Day.
Yeah, she was at Big 12 last week too. So this is a Mallory Hartley problem.
It is. So blame her. But we will be back. We have the courage to be back on Thursday.
We do.
And then we won't be here next week because we'll be at coaching school.
And then probably not the next week.
And probably not the next week because you'll be in Italy.
Yeah.
So cherish it, folks. Don't worry. Football season's coming, and then you're going to own us. So
yeah, we're
you know what I
fully
mean?
consistent in football season.
You'll have all of our time at that point, but this is the one time where we get to take a little bit of break. But anyway, we appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to UIL Executive Director Dr. Charles Breithaupt for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.